From the Figure 4 Online Studios in beautiful Bothell, Washington, exclusively at WrestlingObserver.com, you're listening to The Bryan and Vinny Show with your hosts, Bryan Alvarez and Big Vinny V.
Should have left that first part in. It's the Bryan Vinny Show here. May 8, 2018. Figure4online.com/WrestlingObserver.com. Producer Rob today playing the role of the website. It had been a cherry on top of the sundae here today. I'm going to mute you guys for a second. I gotta get going here for a while. I'll explain everything very quickly. So, for those of you that don't know what's going on with the website, which should be nobody because, nobody can get anything on the website, here's what happened. So, on Sunday, WWE ran just the worst fucking pay-per-view. I've determined it is my most hated pay-per-view of all time. That doesn't include, for example, Over the Edge. I'm talking a show that was designed the way that it ended up on television. I don't think I've ever hated... There have probably been worse shows, but I don't think I've ever hated a show as much as I hated this year's Backlash. Not only because of the show, but because of everything surrounding the show. So, the show's going on, and I'm tweeting about the show, just making some comments here and there, kind of expressing how fucking terrible this show is. And I learned later that over the course of that 3 hours that I was tweeting about Backlash, I gained 900 Twitter followers. Never in ever have I gained 900 followers during one show. Usually I'll maybe get 100 as I rant and rave and hashtag Backlash. 900 new followers as I eviscerated that show. I thought, that's kind of weird. There have been a lot of bad shows. What is it about this one? Why is this striking a nerve with so many people? So then I tweeted at the end, Vinny and I will be up later on tonight with a new Bryan and Vinny show. So we recorded the show, and I uploaded it. And usually after uploading it, I go to make sure it's working on all of the various platforms. So I go to my Downcast to make sure that it's downloading for everybody. And goddamn if that isn't a slow download. I'm thinking, what the fuck's taking so long? Why is it taking so long to download this show? Well, next day, or later that evening, I do the Observer radio show. And then I wake up the next morning to find out that the website, all of the everything members related is down. What the hell happened here? So, Tony gets on the phone with the hosting service, and we're like, what's going on here? The website, we can't get to anything that you're hosting here. What's happening? So they explained to us that we were under a DDoS attack. Dedicated denial of service, I believe is the... They thought we were being hacked. The night before at around 10 p.m., and then the following morning. Okay? We weren't being hacked. There were so many people that were trying to download the Bryan and Vinny show and then trying to download the Observer radio show in the morning. There was so much traffic when people got up to go to work and when people saw that our show got posted that they presumed we were under attack and they shut down the entire website, everything, to prevent us from being attacked. We weren't being attacked.
No.
Okay. It gets better. So they shut us down, and we're like, well, can we turn the goddamn thing back on? I'm sure Tony probably said it in a nicer way than this. And suffice to say, number one, we've been outgrowing this server. And number two, Now, keep in mind, we weren't under attack. Do you understand what I'm saying here? We weren't actually being attacked, okay? It was purely traffic related. They told us that if we wanted to bring the site back up the way that it used to be, they wanted us to pay monthly for a system that would prevent us from ever being hit with a DDoS attack, which we weren't hit with. I'll turn you guys on. Would anyone like to guess how much it is per month for this service to avoid being hacked?
I will say $700.
What do you think, Craig?
$1.
Rob, would you like to chime in? How much do you think they'd charge us?
I'll say $1,500.
$5,000
A month.
That's more.
every month. $70,000 a year.
So where'd you tell them to
Wait,
go?
what?
12 and 5. 60? 60,000? Oh, I'm sorry. 60 and 70 fucking $1,000. Oh, well, in that case, let me fucking get him on the phone right now. I didn't realize it was so cheap. Fuck. That's what you got out of that? My math was wrong?
Yes.
Part of it.
Okay, so here's the only thing resembling good news. Like I said, we were outgrowing this fucking server. Tony had already put everything in motion a month ago to start a move. We were already planning to upgrade, okay? Now, for those of you unaware, we started this website in 2005, and unlike a lot of websites, every single fucking show we've ever done is in our archives. There's over 9,000 shows. You can't just go, hey, they're all on the other server right now. It's a long fucking process. So anyway, for a full month we've been working on this. Now, tonight at 10 o'clock, there's going to be an emergency switchover. So, point of all of this is, probably over the next couple of days, there's going to be various disasters. I apologize in advance. But once everything is working well again, we won't have this problem, hopefully for a long time. But that's what's going on right here. Reason I bring this up, not only because the website is down, but because we had backlash. The website went down. And then today, Vinny, you son of a bitch. You motherfucker.
You didn't like the movie.
Battlefield fucking Earth. You know what? Like, outside of legitimate, like, real-life tragedies, you know, like somebody actually dying or whatever else, professionally, since 1995, I believe that professionally this has been the worst fucking week of my professional career. Backlash, the death of our website, and fucking Battlefield Earth. On a sunny, beautiful day, I sat in this fucking bat cave and watched Battlefield Earth.
Sorry.
That's my week.
Vinny brought it up. It's actually your idea.
You know, I did think that we should have done this over the Edge week, so we could actually watch Nitro and Battlefield Earth. This week we watched Raw and Battlefield Earth, so we didn't get the exact direct comparison that I think we could have got. Like, I think last week if we would have watched Nitro and Battlefield Earth, I believe that last week I would have said Nitro worse than Battlefield Earth. But because I haven't watched Nitro in a week, Battlefield Earth may have been worse. But do you understand how close these two horrible things are to each other?
It's exquisitely horrible.
It's fucking neck and neck.
I think the movie Battlefield Earth it's worse than the Nitro we watched last week, but better than the one we watched 2 weeks ago.
I'd have to go back and look at my notes. There was a Nitro within the last month that I'm sure was worse than Battlefield Earth.
Yes.
All right, we'll get into that movie as the main event here tonight.
Okay.
But first, let's talk about this Raw, which was unopposed.
Unopposed.
Right.
Has there ever been a more obvious unopposed edition of Raw?
No.
Talk about not giving a fuck about anything on this show. This show was so boring. This is the kind of show that Vince Russo points to and he goes, nobody wants to watch long matches. Because, man, I booked some long matches on a Raw that was unopposed.
You did?
And nobody gave a fuck. On this show, how long were these fucking matches?
Did I watch the wrong one?
Hours long.
Well, I guess we'll get into it.
Well, let's begin.
WWF Monday Night Raw 311, May 10th, 1999. Corporate Ministries walking around backstage. So up front, you got Hunter in jeans and a fanny pack. Shane in like slacks and a polo shirt. And The Undertaker in his big giant robe, which is getting caught on everything he walks by. And then you have the Union with Vince McMahon, with their 2x4s, and a 3-man riot squad.
Now listen, Battlefield Earth is worse than this Raw, but I'm not sure there's anything in Battlefield Earth more preposterous than this Undertaker walking around in his goddamn robe all over the place. He comes to the building in this?
I guess.
He just walks around backstage in this robe?
Airport security. This
is bizarre.
A giant man in his even oversized robe. Kane versus Mr. Ass. Here in the opener, they had a hot blonde and a pink dress come out of the crowd and give Billy a hug. And
Should have kept her around all night.
Security took her away. So Kane's beating Billy up for a while. Billy misses, or he takes a bump for a kick that missed so bad the announcers can't even try to cover it up. Said he slipped and stuff.
He slipped.
So Kane's on the apron, about to climb into the ring. Billy drop kicks him, and Kane manages to bump first to his ass in the apron, and then he gets his leg caught on the ropes, and so he's left hanging upside down, but he swings his head back. And I screamed, but he had it set up so it's between his foot on the ropes and his hands on the ground, he did not hit his head on the ground. But it was terrifying to watch this giant monster take this fall. So Billy keeps punching Kane until Road Dogg and X-Pac make the save. Road Dogg and Mr. Ass brawl through the crowd. Somewhere in here, the bell rings, but there is no announcement. Just a bell rings.
Oh, the match is over.
As apparently. But hey, on this show, that's
Who needs finishes?
we got. At least we know there is a point where the match has ended.
You see, Vinny, it doesn't matter why the match ended. All you need to know is the match is over.
The match is over. And as I say, on this show, that's a good thing to have. Then D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry run out. They attack X-Pac and Kane. Ivory is still with them. I have no idea who I'm supposed to cheer for in any of this. And Kane and X-Pac recover. They chase the challengers to the back, and that is that.
Kane's upside down with his foot caught in the ropes, hanging there. They're trying to get him out, and they can't. Kane debuted in what, 97? It's 99?
As Kane, yes.
It's been 2 years? Yeah. Okay. This was the first time in his entire career as Kane that he looked like a complete fucking geek. Well. He looked like such a geek, hanging upside down by his foot, stuck.
It was impressive to see him actually lift himself up and do a
sit-up.
A huge setup.
Yeah.
He's a big, strong, jacked up dude. I hope he can do one sit-up.
From hanging upside down?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had lots and lots of clips of the Union and the corporate ministry walking around.
There was a lot of walking.
How big is this building? Where are they going?
In circles, obviously.
Yeah. So the Union comes out for a promo. They immediately call out Shane and the ministry, so we got 5 straight minutes of nothing but entrances. The evolution of Hunter Hearst Helmsley continues. He's full-on team water bottle at this point.
Yes.
Every time he walks on screen, takes a swig of water. So Shawn Michaels appears on the big screen for a promo in what had to be the most laid-back, boring Shawn Michaels promo of all time. Like, it was like there was a baby in the room. He didn't want to wake the baby up.
I liked it.
He starts...
Am I the only one?
Yes. He starts out by changing the over-the-edge card. He says, I see here the main event is Steve Austin versus The Undertaker with Shane as special ref. Let's make Vince a special ref too. Now, I realize in the big picture it doesn't matter, but boy, that sounds awful. So for tonight, he books, I don't know, a dozen matches.
We got Farouk versus Bradshaw in a lumberjack match with the Union as lumberjacks.
1.
Mm-hmm. Nightstick on a pole.
Right.
With Test and the Big Boss Man.
2.
Patterson and Briscoe versus the Mean Street Posse with the losers leaving WWE forever.
3.
Like a goddamn mark, I was like, God, were they only around for that long? Little did I fucking know.
Yeah.
Of course not. Shamrock versus China.
4.
The Big Show versus Paul Bearer.
5.
Where if anyone interferes, The Undertaker sacrifices his title shot at Over the Edge. Viscera and Midian versus Cactus Jack in a hardcore handicap match.
6.
He's a babyface. The advantage is for Cactus Jack in this handicap match, in his mind. Sable versus Deborah in an evening gown match because he says, we have to have the chicks.
7.
Yeah.
Says if Sable does not show up, he will strip her of the one thing she hasn't taken off, her woman's title. And in the main event, Undertaker, Triple H, and Shane McMahon versus Rock, Stone Cold, and Vince McMahon with a special referee, he says. Mm-hmm. And he reveals that the 3 Riot Squad members are, in fact, Gerald Briscoe, Pat Patterson, and yes, himself. Yes. It was a taped promo. And he does his dance, and that was that. I like this segment.
Now, in the Big Boss Man and Test match, he said the first guy to get the nightstick can use it, and they can stick it where the sun don't shine.
Yeah.
That's
up his ass.
That's a heck of a stip.
Yeah.
What does he has to? So he can't.
He can.
He can.
It's a legal maneuver.
Is that how you win?
No, he just said you can.
Yeah.
I see.
We won't stop you. So 8 matches. And by the way, wasn't one of the steps of Sean being commissioner that he cannot book Stone Cold? That's Vince's job.
Well, Stone Cold never came out, so maybe that is the case. And then later he decided to come out.
I see.
Yeah.
So yes, they did the big reveal and the big dance. And Sean in the ring was, it was Shawn Michaels, thank God. And not the Quaalude-induced coma that Sean was in the pre-tape promo. They replayed Undertaker breaking a baseball bat over Show's head from last week, only they redid the commentary.
Which led to nothing, by the way.
Yeah, he came out 10 minutes later and he was fine.
Yeah.
So, it's no longer officially on the record, there's no longer a baseball bat, it was a club.
Oh,
I guess they're worried about children.
Yeah, kids can't find clubs.
They can't. Well, they have bats all around the house, but no one has a club. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Show versus Paul Bearer. So Bearer doesn't come out. Then he does, and then he says he won't wrestle. Out comes Sean, who at this point is dressed exactly like Roman Reigns. And
he's still in his
tag gear.
Sure.
Yeah.
So he forces Paul to waddle down to the ring and roll under the ropes. Lawler says, "Lay motionless on the ground like a slug. That's your best defense." I laughed. So Show hits a big boot and Bearer just falls down. And then
stays there.
Big Show does the lightest elbow drop you've ever seen a 500-pound man do.
Good.
Yeah. And then he asks Sean to waive the no interference stipulation so Taker can come out and get his ass kicked. And Sean agrees. More entrances. Taker comes out, but he stops short of the ring. Out comes the rest of the ministry. Out comes the Union. They chase the ministry away with the 2x4s, and they go to commercial. So, unlike the opener, where at least we got a belt in the match, nothing happened here. They rang the bell to start the match, nothing happened, and they went to commercial.
I'm not one of those Roman Reigns haters or anything like that, but man.
Good.
Shawn Michaels at 25% is 200% of Roman Reigns.
Well, yes.
That flak jacket.
Write that down.
Yeah, Sean was great. Okay. Sable versus Deborah in an evening gown match.
Holy shit.
Before we begin, I want those of you who did not see this show, do not remember, we're not making any of this up.
No, hell no.
What happened here actually happened on a television show watched by millions. So Deborah comes out in her evening gown. Sable comes out in bra and panties, high heels, and I guess you call it a nightie.
A robe?
Sort of, yeah.
Kind of.
It's kind of like a cape made out of silk.
Yeah, and it had sleeves, but if the idea of an evening gown match is to strip the opponent of her evening gown, Sable appeared to have already lost.
It's true. You would not go to a ball in this.
No.
I mean, well, maybe it's playbook
Depends
match.
on the ball.
I'll let you guys walk yourselves out of that one. So, if in the 0% chance that Brock Lesnar is listening to the show, I want him to know that everything that I'm about to say was not said by Vincent Verhey, but said by Shawn Michaels in 1999.
That's good.
Lawler asks if Sable is horizontally accessible. Shawn says she's accessible every which way. Sable talks about the men who come to see her. And Shawn asked about, quote, those of us who have had you. And then he also had a line about Sable enjoying the microphone near her mouth.
Huh.
Yeah. So, Sable flashes her thong. The bell rings. Let me say that again. It's an evening gown match where Sable began by flashing her thong. Then the bell rings. Out comes Val Venus. He begins to flirt with Deborah.
She's just a very confident champion, Vinny.
I guess.
Yes.
So, Val's flirting with Deborah. Sable jumps Deborah from behind, tears off her evening gown. The bell rings. That was quick, Sean notes.
Yeah.
Nicole Bass comes out. She stalks Val up the ramp. Jeff Jarrett comes out, breaks a guitar over Val's head. They both disappear. Michael Cole gets in the ring to interview Sable, but Sean interrupts.
Because, man, we got to get her thoughts on this match.
Yes.
Sable, tell us about this match.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
We don't ordinarily
Having defeated
do.
Deborah in this classic encounter right here.
We don't ordinarily do in-ring post-match interviews, but man, we got to know what you're thinking.
We must get her thoughts on this. Maybe she'll take her clothes off. I'm sure he was thinking.
So Sean interrupts, and I am paraphrasing. I didn't write it down word for word, but this is what he said.
I'll say it.
Okay.
He says, I see an evening gown match differently. The rules. As far as I'm concerned, with puppies like Deborah's, especially puppies we have not seen before, in my mind, the woman who gets her gown ripped off is the winner. And so he takes the belt out of Sable's hands. He gives it to Deborah.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody, Mookie, whoever, this had to be the most bullshit title change in the history of professional wrestling up to that point in time.
Ever.
Has there ever been a worse one? They had a match. They did the match with a finish. Granted, not much of a match. And a guy just comes in and says, I'm going to give the belt to the other guy. Or gal.
It would be as if, after the Backlash show, after Roman pinned Joe, if they suddenly announced, wait, the man who gets his shoulders pinned is the winner.
Yeah.
Right.
So that would have been cheered at Backlash, but...
I even think stuff like whatever happened to the light heavyweight title was not this stupid. What, like Dwayne Gill somehow won it?
He won it.
I mean, it was
He
still
beat
like...
a guy and won it.
Yeah. I swear to God, this was the most bullshit title change that had to have ever occurred on the planet Earth prior to this moment.
When you think about BS title changes, you think about the finger poke of doom. But a man was actually pinned,
Hogan pinned Nash.
and it was awarded the title.
Yes.
This was worse.
Yes. So, after this officially recognized championship title switch, which you can find on the WWE record books, it happened, it counts. Just try explaining any of this to your non-wrestling friends, non-wrestling fan friends.
It's easy. Just say what Sean said. They'd be like, cool. Sounds good to me.
Test versus the Big Boss Man in a nightstick on a pole match. This sucked. This is a horrible match.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about when you were acting like there weren't any long matches on this show. This was the longest fucking match I ever saw in my life. They
went
went
4 minutes.
No, they fucking did not. Bullshit. 4 minutes?
I
No
don't know.
way.
I didn't think it was long. I just thought it was horrible.
No, Craig. Get out of here.
Yes.
You're both lying to me.
It wasn't that long, dude.
They went 14 minutes. It was astoundingly boring. They just kept going forever. Fans started doing the wave. And then, of course, everyone's favorite pole finish. Test got the stick first, but he's a fucking geek.
Right.
So Boss Man whacks him with a gimmick, gets the nightstick, hits Test, pins him. This was horrid. I have no good things to say about this. It sucked.
It's really bad.
It was bad. We mentioned Boss Man pulling Test's pants down, so we saw his ass.
Oh yeah, his ass came out.
Yes. Dueling Mr. Asses on the show. Oh, yeah, you talked about the finish. Okay. Val Venus cuts a backstage promo on Jeff Jarrett, challenges into a match tonight. Hey, at least this was a good promo.
All right, hold on here. So 1990.
Are you looking up the time?
I got the match here. I'm looking at it right now.
I'm looking at the title lineage here. So you got to remember that like Alundra Blaze was a champion in 1995, and then she threw it in the garbage can. So
Right.
we didn't have a champion for 3 years. And then Jackie won it, beating Sable. Sable won it from Jackie. All it says is Shane McMahon was a special guest referee. And then Deborah is here as the champion. This was an evening gown match. Sable had defeated Deborah in the match, but Commissioner Shawn Michaels stated that Deborah was the winner because she had lost her dress and awarded the championship to her.
Yeah,
It's on WWE.com?
Yeah. No, that's on Wikipedia.
but still.
Okay.
Well, as long as we're looking things up, Boss Man and Test went a little more than 7 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I knew it wasn't 4.
It wasn't 14, though.
It was 30.
Cactus Jack versus Viscera and Midian in a hardcore handicap match.
Mm-hmm.
So if Cactus Jack is so dangerous that it's fair to in fact, to his advantage, to match him up against 800 plus pounds of opponent, why isn't he Cactus Jack all the time?
It's just one night only, baby.
That's a
it's
great-
very important that he wears that white button-up shirt and the tie all the time.
That's a great question, Vince. My question is, why the basketballs?
They were in Orlando, and Orlando had a basketball team.
Lots of places have basketball teams.
Even I knew
Vince.
that.
That's the best I can do. I don't know.
The Orlando Jordans. No?
No.
Rob thought it was a funny joke.
It's because he's the man.
So
It's paid.
I don't know how long this went. Let's say 5 minutes. They hit each
Get
other
outta
in the
here,
head
you
over
idiot.
and over and over and over again. And Jack hit the cactus elbow on Viscera and pinned him to win.
Sucked.
Yeah.
Teddy Long was the ref. I don't know how long Teddy's been a ref.
So what? He's been around forever as a ref.
Has he? Okay. That just occurred to me.
And by the way, Midian absolutely clobbered Cactus Jack at one point with a chair.
They did.
Right in the side of the ear.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
So Jack is leaving, and just as they go to commercial, I believe Bruce Pritchard ran out to collect all the plunder and the basketballs, in fact. Cole interviewed China in the back. She obviously got a promo. She's on her period, she says. The balls are in her court. She might rip them off and step on them.
Ho ho ho! Ha ha! Cool.
Steve
Over this show.
Steve Blackman hype video,
Over this day.
which
This
is
week.
oxymoronic. Bradshaw versus Farouk in a lumberjack match. So they say they're not going to fight. Then they start to argue about who's tougher. So they start fighting. Mankind comes out. Not Cactus Jack. Mankind comes
Yeah,
out.
it was one time only, Vince.
Yep.
Till the next time.
So the crowd enjoyed this for like a minute.
Shit's got to make sense on this show.
The novelty wore off quickly. Out come the NWOB teamers, really, of Viscera, Midian, and them. Union hits the ring. They trap Viscera. They beat him with 2x4s. The Union's music plays. There is no bell. There is no finish. It just stopped.
Yeah.
Patterson and Briscoe are backstage bragging about all the legends they've beaten. Ray Stevens. I beat Bockwinkel. I beat the Funk Brothers. I beat Ric Flair.
It's all true.
It was great.
Yeah.
Mean Street Posse versus the Stooges, and a loser leaves WWF Forever match.
It was funny is last week the Stooges were so over.
Yeah.
So this week it's like, well, we're going to get them over, dude. Let's play real American when they come out.
Yeah.
Let's have them wear shirts. Let's like make stars out of them. I mean, the match was fine. Last week's match was way better. They just slammed Patterson outside. Briscoe fires up on the inside, which was great.
Gerald Briscoe was legit the third best babyface in the show.
Yes.
Behind Rock and Austin.
They're about to whip him, and Patterson makes a big comeback with his helmet, and then we got a combo
Riot
figure
gear helmet, I
four
should clarify,
and
yeah.
Boston Crab for the pin. Vinny, I can't believe you just said that.
Oh, we have confused listeners here.
No, we didn't. Now we have appalled listeners.
I'm not appalled.
I'm disgusted.
So yes,
It's 2018.
double submission finish.
God damn it, Vinny.
The
Must
best,
we?
This is the best thing in the show. And then Patterson removes his shirt and does the Hulk Hogan flexing, and Jim Ross notes he's
You want
single,
to talk
fellas.
about his knob now?
No, I'm good.
Because he got his shirt off? Anything else?
No, I'm good. Brian's very delicate today.
I am very delicate today. I could burst into tears at any moment. Ross did say he singles late. He singles guys.
Fellas.
Fellas?
Yeah.
Was it fellas?
It was fellas. Maybe he was talking to
Yeah.
Seamus.
Maybe he was singing that same line about the helmet.
So Shamrock does a very low-key, almost out-of-character promo saying, listen,
I have no standards on this show, but sometimes I got standards. That was too much for me. I can't let it go.
clearly, you've got a good firm grip on
How long you been? Get out of here. You're just the worst.
If I were
Doing that in Battlefield Earth.
if I worst, you mean best. Shamrock does a very low-key promo saying, listen, I grew up in a lot of group homes. If you hit a woman, there would be a very serious price to pay.
Well, I should hope so.
And I know Shawn Michaels thinks he's done me a favor by booking this match, but I don't know what's going to go on out there tonight. Jeff Jarrett versus Val Venus. We finally get a professional wrestling match between full-time professional wrestlers on this here professional wrestling show.
And it was fucking boring.
Well, it was. Nobody cared about it at all.
Just went on forever. They're chanting, "We want puppies."
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
That's true.
And then Val is going to go up top for the money shot. Deborah jumps up on the apron, reveals her bra. This fucking idiot jumps down and decides, now's my chance to make out. He goes, they start just slobbering all over each
He
other.
gave her a hickey.
Jeff hits him with the belt and fucking pins him.
Yeah.
You absolute geek.
Of all the people on this roster, by the way, to be distracted by boobs,
Thank you.
the porn star,
Yeah.
like you never seen them before?
He can't help himself.
I guess not.
It's an addiction.
Speaking of boobs, it was a beaver cleavage promo.
Gosh.
If you like jokes about hairy beavers and split beavers and working your knees, you'll like this.
Oh, you trying to be above it after your fucking helmet joke?
My helmet joke was much funnier than this.
By the way, Ross and Lawler, after that Val Venus match, theorized that maybe Deborah had outsmarted Val.
Well, he doesn't have a lot of blood going to his brain. But
Okay.
This beaver cleavage thing,
Sucked? I know.
this is a son and mom?
That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Hello?
Ew.
Yes.
Yeah? Where were you last week?
It just dawned on me this week.
This is like the third time they've done this.
Understood?
Yes. It's an incest joke. The entire gimmick. The gimmick is incest
Craig,
is
you're
funny.
the one that
Ha-ha.
brought up a couple of weeks ago about Vince and Stephanie.
No, I didn't bring that up. You brought that up.
No, somebody asked, oh, it was you?
Yeah.
All right, well, where were you?
I was sitting right here.
Well, turn your ears on. Have your headphones muted? How the hell did you not get that was an incest angle? For 3 weeks now. It's a guy with his mom. He's talking about her tits.
Isn't it-
What the fuck more do you need?
Stepmom?
China
That's
versus
not
Ken Shamrock.
incest. Jesus.
Check Vinny's history. I bet you can find some.
How dare you? China versus Ken Shamrock.
I'm not sure now.
Hunter finally gets his theme song. Had a different song every week this whole year. And they would add the DX band to add lyrics to this later, but this is his theme song pretty much forever until he got Motorhead involved. So Shamrock comes out. He refuses to fight. Why did he come out then? Threatens to beat up Hunter. China slaps Shamrock. Kenny replies by turning his back and yelling at the top of his lungs, "Fuck!"
Twice.
Then he says, "Fuck!"
I counted 5.
Oh, really? I only counted 3. So finally, Shamrock is angry. He grabs China by the throat. Hunter jumps in from behind. They ping-pong him back and forth a bit. He bellies to bellies China. Gets pissed at himself. Walks out. Says, "Fuck!" again. That was it.
I mean, I
was
don't
5.
blame him. Yeah, that was it.
So they show Rock, Vince, and Austin all on, not together, but on 3 separate screens walking. Why was Steve Austin wearing these bright red shorts?
Why the hell was Shawn Michaels wearing those?
And
fucking
then,
shorts?
if I wasn't appalled enough, because at least Austin's were gym shorts, Michaels was those notorious those shorts. And when he came out for the main event and he posed on the top turnbuckle, I take back everything I ever said about those Michael Hayes tights a few months ago. These were 100 times more revealing.
You could tell what religion the man was.
He may as well have just been nude.
There was his helmet.
Yeah, yes. You're catching on.
Yeah, that was there too.
Yeah. So the match happened. Triple H and Undertaker and Shane McMahon versus Steve Austin and Rock and Vince McMahon. Everyone brawled everywhere. Rock apparently has a broken arm now.
Yeah, they said he broke it last week. I'm like, where?
Yeah.
Fucking Big Show got hit with a baseball bat. He's fine, and somehow Rock broke his arm. Was
Yeah.
he doing a bad people's
Sure.
elbow? I don't remember this.
So Austin comes out late to a huge ovation. Everyone starts doing stuff. Comes down to Vince and Shane alone in the ring. Austin appears. He stuns Shane, and Vince makes a cover, but Austin pulls Vince off, stuns Shane again, and this time he pins him, which technically counts as a clean pin. And the show pretty much instantly went off the air, and I was exhausted.
Yeah, but you know what? That was an awesome finish.
Sure.
Because Vince and Steve Austin,
Are not friends.
like Vince is a babyface now.
Yes.
Austin still hates the guy.
Absolutely.
He's always going to hate the guy.
Yes.
Until fucking 2001 when they almost killed the company. So Austin hits a stunner on Shane. Vince is right there to make the cover. And Austin's like, fuck you, you're not making this cover. I stunned the guy. Yeah. And he's Steve Austin, so he stuns him again, and then he pins him.
Yes.
It was awesome. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of shit that's missing today. Like, the show is so bad, except for everything involving The Rock, Vince McMahon, and Steve Austin. That stuff is fucking amazing.
Yes. Sure.
So yeah, I loved this. And there you go. That's the show.
That was the end. How long is my theme music? We may need 3 or 4 editions.
I can play it again, you know.
All right.
All right, here we go. Which one do I usually play for you? You don't know.
I don't know it.
That one.
The amazing, ridiculous, preposterous, unbelievable finishes on this show were DQ or countout or no contest where I don't know who won or lost or if it was a draw. Bell never rang, so I assume a no contest. Clean finish in an evening gown match, but oh wait, The rules of the match were changed after the fact. Pin in a nightstick match after the wrong nightstick was used. Pin in a handicap hardcore match. Double submission in what I assume was a no DQ match. Pin after distraction and belt shot. No match when one of the fighters came out but then refused to fight. Clean pin and a 6-man tag, and even then one guy refused to let his partner get the pin and had to get it himself.
Well, that's okay. Whew. Yeah. Yep.
So for those of you who are not hip to the what's going on here, I guess we explained at the start of the show, but I'll explain it again now. We watched a really bad episode of Nitro. Brian said it had to be
A really bad episode. One of the worst shows I ever saw in my whole life.
Brian said it had to be the worst thing you've ever seen. Name one thing worse, and I immediately said Battlefield Earth. And so here we are to test that theory.
Off to the races.
Is Battlefield Earth, which came out in 2000, worse than WCW Monday Nitro in 1999?
Well, would you like me to very quickly go over what we saw on Nitro last week before we review this Battlefield Earth? So we'll have a fair comparison.
That's a good plan.
Well, we had Flair calling Little Nate because he just got out of the insane asylum and was going back to Nitro. We had a Gorgeous George training video. We had a plug for the Nitro Girls website. We had a fucking NASCAR geek introduced for like 10 minutes. We had the Armstrong brothers versus Ray and Kidman, which was very quick. Buff Bagwell versus the Shat, which I wrote was a painfully massive waste of time. And it kind of made me furious, I wrote. We have Flair and his crew arrive for the long talking segment with Flair, Robinson, Roddy Piper, Gene Okerlund, George's boobs, Randy Savage, Flair firing and unfiring people, Savage and Medusa, the molestation of Gorgeous George, Charles talking more, Flair's ranting, we don't know what he's fucking talking about. Then Sting comes out, and they set up some fucking matches, with Goldberg, who also comes out. We had Flair and Stevie Ray offering $100,000, take out Nash. We had Bam Bam Bigelow versus Hack in a atrocious, hideous fucking hardcore match. Which, by the way, this goddamn hardcore match went to a no contest.
Yes.
We had the NWO B team segment. We had Conan versus Horace.
That was awful.
Where Conan went 1,000,000 miles an hour, and we thought it would be over quick, but then it just fucking kept going forever. We had Rick meeting with David and Tori and signing him to a match with Meng. We had the Roddy Piper lurching out of his limo going after Flair. Flair met with Steiner, which led to nothing. Tell him to take out Nash. Luger and Liz breaking in via satellite, which never actually happened.
Right.
It just went and went away. Steiner killed Bagwell backstage. David Flair versus Meng, which was the only good thing on the show. A Gene versus DDP promo, where DDP bragged about being the quickest two-time champion ever.
Yeah.
And he's still in his prime.
Right.
Kurt Hennig versus Booker T for the television title. Ric Flair versus DDP for the world title, where in his hometown, by the way, all of this in Charlotte, North Carolina, in his hometown, DDP hit Flair with a gimmick. Scott Dickinson ran in, counted the pin. This was, I wrote, an historically awful show.
Okay. So that's our baseline.
Yeah.
Let us begin. Subtitles inform us that man is an endangered species. So we're in a desolate mountain range. I believe that the subtitle of the film was like a saga 3,000 years in the future or something. We're in the far future.
Can I give you a little bit of something before we get into the actual film?
Anytime.
Okay.
We have no format for this. This is new territory.
This is a movie based on a book by L. Ron Hubbard.
Yes.
The first half of a book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I didn't know that part.
Yes, because what's his face?
Travolta
is a Scientologist.
Yes.
And he's like, I'm going to make this fucking book into a movie. I'm going to make the first half. It's going to be a fucking blockbuster. Then I'm going to make the second half. We haven't seen the second half.
No.
This lost millions and millions of fucking dollars.
Plans change.
So years and years, I will not mention any names. I just want to just tell a quick story real quick.
Okay.
Years and years ago, I worked at a gymnastics place. And the people that owned it were Scientologists. And they had all of these Scientology books at their house. They were like Scientologists, okay?
God, I understand.
I was a young feller. I think I was 15 years old. So,
Impressionable.
as a no, that's not where this is going.
Naive. Yeah.
As a gymnastics coach, like they would often send us to clinics so we could learn how to be better gymnastics coaches.
You tested there?
One day, they said to me, "We got a clinic coming up in Bellevue. We'd like you to go." I said, "I'll be there." So I'm driving around Bellevue going, "Where the fuck is this place? This is like the Church of Scientology. What's going on here?" They sent me to a Scientology meeting.
Yeah.
This was profoundly awkward.
A ruse.
Okay. How old am I now? 42?
I think so.
What's 42 minus 15?
27?
For 27 years to this day, not a week goes by where my P.O. box is not flooded with Scientology
Yes.
literature.
Huh.
I get emails every single day.
Okay.
I filter them. I delete them. I unsubscribe. They just keep coming. They won't quit. So I have a special place in my heart for this fucking movie.
Okay.
Do you know anybody that can do a good Leah Remini impression?
Now, I don't know.
I don't know. But
I don't know all of these stories about, like, I don't know everything about Battlefield Earth, the book, and this movie and everything like that. But I do know that the Church of Scientology, there are various levels that you work your way up to.
Sure.
And the very top levels are very secret, okay? But all of this stuff has come out in recent years. You can read all about it. And I'm fairly certain, I may have some Scientologists listening to this that may correct me, but I'm fairly certain that the teachings that you learn at the very, very top, the story they tell about the history of man is very, very similar to what this movie is about here.
I do know there is, they believe man, well, I think it's the opposite, because here there's man and then aliens come. I think the Scientologists believe that aliens come and invented man or something.
Well, I mean,
Space travel is a part of it.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Slaves,
Probably.
slave race, you know.
Secrecy for sure.
Sure, yeah. So begin.
Okay, man is an endangered species. We are in a desolate mountain range where a dude rides a horse down a hill to join his fellow cavemen. He says, "I have medicine." They say, "Your dad is already dead."
Oh,
Oops.
He screams in slow motion. He buries his dad.
a lot of slow motion in this movie.
The two cinematographic, what would the word there be?
Cinematographers.
Yeah. The two choices they make are lots of slow motion and always tilt the camera.
There's a lot of camera tilting.
Much
yeah.
like the old Batman TV show.
Sure.
So all the cavemen are gathered around the fire. And
As cavemen do.
sure. And the guy who rode his horse down the hill, who actually there's a phase in his life where Weird Al Yankovic looked a lot like this guy. People think of Weird Al with like the long curly hair or the big afro, but there was a phase when he had just like straight hair.
Sure.
And that's what this guy looked
My
like.
wife came in at one point and said, I didn't know Sebastian Bach did a movie.
I know what Sebastian Bach looks like.
Well, there's this thing
Looks
called
like the singer
Google.
for Skid Row.
I know who he is. I'll look it up in a minute. So anyway, this guy, he tells people, "We've never seen the demons. We should go somewhere else in search of food." Old guy says, No. There are demons out there. The gods have abandoned us. The demons arrived from the sky.
Oh, man.
So the guy tells his girlfriend, "You stay here and watch over the village. I'm going to go."
Girl.
Yeah,
Cute.
girl.
Oh, yeah.
Very cute.
You tell me there's a good-looking girl in the movie?
Yeah.
We should look for anything positive to say, to be fair.
This was an attractive female, Brian.
Yeah.
Can we talk about this guy's name, the hero of the movie?
Eventually we learned it. Like halfway through we get his name.
Right.
Johnny Goodboy Tyler.
Where did you get his middle and last name?
That's the guy's name.
Did you watch the credits?
Yeah,
I
I
credits, I
studied
think
this
this is
fucking
Johnny.
thing.
Waiting for deleted scenes?
I seem to recall that reading he has a full name somewhere, but in the movie it's just Johnny, and he doesn't get that name until halfway through.
Well, he's Johnny Goodboy Tyler.
Okay. So he's leaving. He says,
Because he's the baby face. Yeah. So his middle name is
Good Boy. Yes.
Okay, just to make sure you're not confused.
Right. So he says, "I'm going to leave this village and I'm going to find us some more food. You stay here and watch over the village." She says, "Here's a gift from your mom." She wishes him luck.
Can we talk about how she wanted to go and he was like, no.
No.
And she goes, "Is it because I'm a girl?"
Yes.
Or something like that. And he goes, "Yes. You're much more valuable here."
That's what he said.
Like this is, it's just like, what?
This guy's an idiot.
Like he said something
He's a
really
total
fucking
idiot.
stupid, and
Yeah.
the girl was really mad at him, so he tried to talk his way out of it, and he managed to convince her.
And then he got it the hell out of town.
Yeah, he's out of here.
I don't want you alone with me for weeks upon end in the wilderness by ourselves.
So as he's riding his horse away, we get
Got a
five
job to do, Craig. Get
different
food.
camera tilts.
He could have got both.
So he's riding his horse. Something scares the horse. The horse throws him. He thinks he sees a monster. It is an old dinosaur statue instead. So he's walking through an abandoned mini golf course.
Sure.
He finds a rotten apple, takes a bite of it. He meets some mean cavemen. Mm-hmm. They say, "We have no food."
Did I mention, by the way, that this movie allegedly takes place 1,000 years in the future?
Yeah.
That goddamn dinosaur's still around?
Sure.
After 1,000 years outside?
Hey.
Well, it may have. It's 1,000.
Get outta
It's 1,000
here.
years in the future. The alien attack may have only been like 900 years in the future.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Plaster Paris holds up well in the weather.
Yeah. So they say we have no food. All I can think is maybe it's because that guy on the right ate all of it.
Well, no, because everything that was destroyed was from now.
You're right.
Thank you.
So Johnny says, "I have some food.
Good boy.
Johnny Good Boy Tyler.
Yes.
I have some food. I will share with you if you can show me a god." So they go to an abandoned city. It's tilted because the camera's all tilted. They tell stories about the gods. Every statue they see, they think it was someone who used to be a person, but he angered the gods, and the gods froze him.
Not just statues, they're in the mall.
Yes.
And so the mannequins that you put fucking clothes on, they
Right.
think that those men angered the gods. They
Yes.
believe that the stars are gods.
Yes.
Right.
They're primitive.
They're cavemen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they stop in this mall to eat. I don't know.
Food court.
I was told they would eat when they saw a god. So I don't know what god they saw. So they found out he left a woman behind. They make fun of him for being an idiot.
Wait, no, they got hungry.
That's true, yeah. So they're making fun of him for leaving the woman behind, and then one of them is shot by a laser. The others run for their lives. This
What
Johnny,
was up with his laser? Like, all three guys got shot.
Sure.
Two of the guys that got shot were fine afterwards. One guy who got shot, it went all the way through him and killed him.
Right. They have
Selective laser?
there was 2 barrels on this gun, if you saw.
Oh.
One of them was the kill shot.
I see.
The other one was the stunner.
Wow.
I like that Johnny Good Boy Tyler and the fat one are running away. Johnny starts running down the stairs, and the fat one says, "I've got an idea." And he jumps like 3 stories down and breaks his leg.
Yeah.
Then he gets shot with a laser. The horse is also shot with a laser. It runs away.
Oh.
And finally, Johnny Good Boy Tyler is shot with a laser, and he goes tumbling through panes of glass in a scene flagrantly, blatantly ripped off from Blade Runner.
I just couldn't figure out why they wanted to use all that glass.
That's why.
Cool. Yeah, he fell through a bunch of glass.
Yeah. So Johnny and his buddies wake up in a cage. The cage is on a plane. The plane is flying over the mountains. They land at this. It was later called a dome. It's a big structure.
Sure.
It's a big base. And they're struggling to breathe, but some guy shows up and gives them some breathing devices.
Why can't they breathe in this dome?
Well, it's
The
because
heels have special air? That's what I got out of this.
The aliens have different air on their planet,
I
so
see,
that's
yes.
the air they're using under the dome.
Yes.
So if the baby faces are under the dome, they can't breathe without an apparatus.
Yes.
But if the heels leave the dome, they can't breathe.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
That.
This is already making so much more sense than Nitro. You're losing your argument here.
Oh, just wait. Just you wait. So they go into the base. We are told this is Human Processing Center, Denver. Caveman tries to flee, gets lasered. Someone here realized these bad guys are giants, like 10 feet tall. Now, it took me a long time to realize this because sometimes they made it clear and sometimes they just didn't bother.
Sure.
There's a scene later in this movie where Johnny Good Boy Tyler and John Travolta are sharing a flying thing, and they're right next to each other in the exact same size.
Now,
Well, I'm sure that Johnny Goodboy Tyler had a booster seat.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
have we discussed what these creatures look like?
No, we have not.
And by the way, it's 1,000 years in the future. I'm sure there's a chair that goes up and down.
But they're the same size, dude.
I know the chair went up.
Yeah, but this. Craig, go ahead.
Tall and skinny, you know.
Craig.
Anyway,
have
they're
it.
creepy looking.
They're like cone heads with dreadlocks,
Yes.
And
As
bad
much-
teeth.
but they have neatly trimmed beards, but their eyebrows are out of control.
By neatly trimmed beards, they're neck beards. But they shave their face, but they let a little bit of neck beard grow way long.
Yes, they have goatees.
That's not neatly trimmed.
They have goatees. All of them have goatees, neatly trimmed, with the rest of their face shaved, eyebrows out of control,
Still better than most wrestling hairdos in the 90s.
dreadlocks, the codpiece on these aliens,
I wish Shawn Michaels had a godpiece.
massive,
So
Covering their helmets.
massive helmets. Yes,
John Travolta shows up. Speaking of their appearance, did anyone else get an Adam Cole vibe from the way Travolta looked in this?
I got
No.
a Matt Hardy vibe from him
I can see that too.
with
yeah.
his acting.
No. Woken Matt Hardy is a much better actor
I'll give you that.
than Travolta in this movie. So,
The heels are called the Cyclos.
yes, not psychos,
Cyclo.
cyclos. Totally different.
It is.
So, giant John Travolta's there. Says the man animal has shot his way free and suffered an injury to his skull bone. I don't know why the giants all have redundancies for everything. So,
Because they're more evolved.
Large heads.
Johnny Goodboy Tyler shoots two of them and vaporizes them, and Travolta is impressed and laughs. Giant Forrest Whitaker also laughs, and then he is captured. That's it for a
Could
while.
have stopped at Forrest Whitaker.
Big fella? Yeah. Giant John Travolta goes to the bar, tells the bartender he's going to stooge them off to their bosses, and laughs at him. What a dick.
Hey, he's a heel.
So
That was abundantly clear.
the cavemen are getting hosed off, and Johnny tries to pick a fight with the 10-foot aliens and gets his ass kicked. Shocking. So Travolta's boss apparently teleports in. They agree Earth is ugly. They say they're going to mine out the planet and exterminate everyone. They laughed at this. Ha ha ha. Talked about dogs for a while. This must have been the planet's superior species. Because we are supposed to laugh at the heels, you see. Travolta wants to transfer off of Earth. He thinks he's due for it, but then he tells him he won't be getting it, basically ever. And they laugh at him. It's a whole race of dicks, as it turns out, the Cyclos are. And then it turns out that giant John Travolta did something inappropriate with a senator's daughter.
Yeah.
Aha. With his massive. Anyway.
Helmet.
Yeah.
So we then go to Planet Cyclo.
Put the hell in helmet.
Planet Cyclo is very purple. Some guys teleported in,
How ironic.
and then we went away.
Great minds, Brian.
So giant John Travolta goes back to the bar.
Must we mention he's giant all the time? What the hell difference does it make?
He's a
We
large
got it.
man.
He's big.
He's drinking his sorrows away. He goes on a tirade about how he was trained to conquer galaxies. His acting was, as I wrote here, a wee bit over the top.
Oh, come on.
He took his drinks and he left.
Did you see Flair in the insane asylum? Hello?
You undersold his overselling.
So the cavemen are being fed some kind of slime. There's a trough. and-
Gruel.
It was guacamole. For
That's what I
God's
thought
sakes.
too. It appeared to be
It's
guacamole.
delicious.
It's healthy, delicious.
A trough of guacamole.
What more could you
Please.
ask for?
Look at you two.
I'm begging for a
I'm
tortilla chip.
disgusted.
So Johnny starts talking about an escape. A fight breaks out. Johnny threatens to drown the guy in the guacamole. Oh, this ends the fight.
Wonderful, delicious death.
So this makes peace with everyone. Travolta and Whitaker yell at each other for a while. They're talking about picto cameras, which is totally different from a regular camera.
Sure.
So they going over some pictures, some survey results or something, and they find gold. Because this massively powerful race of aliens who can travel the universe, conquer anything they meet, it's gold they're after.
Yeah.
This is where
It's good when the economy's down.
This is where it gets silly. Go ahead.
This?
Oh, God. So Travolta goes to meet with his crew. He's the head of security, we were told, this human processing center. There's like a 10-minute scene where they talk about workers and payroll and I believe unions and profits.
Yeah.
It seemed a tad unnecessary.
No, there's a central point of the movie, Craig.
Don't think so.
These heels are fucking the common man.
And each other.
Yeah, they want to bring in more workers and pay them half the cost when they finally get there.
They did say that.
Half their fee.
Yes.
And Travolta was the smart one.
Travolta's like, why don't we train these manimals?
Man animals.
Man animals.
Yes.
To dig some fucking
How-
gold.
That difference is, why don't we call them an animal?
Because they're man animals.
So we'll teach them to operate mining machinery. And all I could think was, so his idea basically is to use the humans as slaves. So if they hadn't been doing that already, why were the humans even alive?
They're hiding.
No, they were in cages being fed guacamole.
Well, yeah, but the others were hiding.
So the cavemen are moving ore and shuffling around in a chain gang, mining.
Yeah.
Inexplicably, I forgot about this and was never explained. A plane just randomly hits a tower.
I don't know what happened there.
Sends bricks and rocks flying everywhere. Johnny grabs a brick, breaks his chains, runs away. Giants chase him down. They laser him. We're like a quarter of the way into this.
No.
You take him.
Dude, keep
Take
going.
him away. Their plan is to take away his breathing gear and see how long he survives. He finds other dudes mining, begs them for help, gets some air shared, and then the Giants fire their lasers. There's a big explosion.
So how do you get his air back?
Yeah.
How?
We don't know.
They shared.
Forever?
It wasn't explained.
What are you looking at me for?
Travolta talks about the gold. He uses the Picto cameras to record Whitaker describing the plan, and then he reveals to Whitaker that he recorded him talking about this just to show if you backstab me, I will show them this video, and they'll think you were the bad guy.
Right.
Because the key point, the word that's most commonly used throughout this film is leverage. The bad guys are very into leverage.
Leverage.
This whole movie is just about backstabbing and betrayal.
Man. It's like the Gracies wrote it.
So we have Johnny is still dodging lasers, diving down pipes just like Mario. He finds a gate blocking his exit. He just starts randomly screaming.
Yeah.
Ah!
He did do a lot of that. He was weird.
So
The guy that played him just was like a weird guy.
yes.
Like, you're into this. You weirdo.
So the Giants find him. They're about to shoot him, but then Travolta shoots them. And he says, this man animal he's got ambition and heightened intelligence. He could be useful. We need leverage over him. So their plan is we need to find out what food they like to eat. We will let them escape. Watch what food they eat. That must be their favorite food. So the
What
cavemen,
a fucking plan.
the cavemen are now loose on the side of some godforsaken mountain.
I don't know. I've done a lot of things for a steak.
It was revealed they have not eaten in 3 days.
A lot.
They kill some rats and eat them. The Giants say, look, they love rats. Now
Yeah.
we have leverage.
They had no goddamn options.
Yeah.
Right.
The first thing they come up with is a rat, and they conclude that's what they want to eat. These are supposed to be
evolved.
See, Ryan, it doesn't make sense.
that one right there.
Oh, there's more.
That one right there.
There's more.
Touched a nerve.
So they were in Aspen. Here's where we finally learned Johnny's name, a good 45 minutes into the movie. He says, I'm not going back to those cages. He's going to jump off a cliff. I don't know if his plan was to escape the Cyclos or to die. I'm really not sure. But a spaceship blocks his path via atrocious special effects.
I think that his thought was, if I jump off this fucking cliff and land in the water, maybe I'll survive.
Sure.
Okay.
And his buddies are like, hell no, you ain't going to survive, you idiot. But he was willing to take this risk.
Luckily, they had an app for an iPhone 5 that was able to bring in these special effects.
These are some bad special
These are
effects.
very, very bad. When you say this movie lost millions, where do those millions go?
Not sure.
So
I mean, it cost millions to make. Like, cost like $70 million.
Yeah.
It made $20 million.
So the man animals are captured. The Cyclos can't figure out why he was going to jump either. They say, man animals must be able to fly. Travolta throws one off a cliff. He cannot fly. So we know that Travolta does not trust anyone. And we know he thinks the man animals are completely incompetent, useless, unintelligent, very primitive creatures. So he leaves them alone in his office to fix his roof. Good plan. Johnny starts messing with the computer. Travolta sees this, locks him in what we later learn is a learning machine where a horrible hologram tries to educate Johnny.
See, that's not even the thing. It's like, he gave this man knowledge.
Yes.
You fucking idiot.
I mean an idiot or Travolta?
Him!
Yes.
Travolta!
Yes.
This didn't make any sense.
No.
Like, you're really dumb. I'm going to make you really smart. And then, like, let's see what happens here. He already knows that this fucking guy is, like, resourceful.
Yes.
Right?
But he's admitted.
Now you're going to give him a great deal of intelligence alongside that?
Well,
You're a bad villain.
Intelligence and information.
But you know what? At least the villain was dumb. and not the baby face.
That's true. That is true. So Johnny's in the learning machine, and the other guys try to pull him out, but he says, no, wait, I must learn all I can about them.
I must learn Euclidean geometry.
He spends more time in the machine.
You heard me.
That's what he said.
Euclidean?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a word. It's a
Maybe
thing.
you need to be in that fucking machine.
Apparently.
I know what. Never mind.
So Johnny tries to teach math to his friends.
Doesn't work.
No.
It's like it's a bunch of me's.
Thank you. Thank you.
They can't understand biology or geometry. They can't understand...
I understand biology.
They can't understand triangles and squares.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
Just keep that in mind for what happens later. Triangles and squares were too much for them to grasp.
He's like, there's 3 sides that have to be the same length, and then all 3 angles have to be the same. And they're like, the same as what? This is a level of stupidity that even I can't fathom. At least I know what he's talking about.
And these are the baby faces.
Yes.
So Johnny, not making this up, Johnny finds a Cyclo employee handbook and uses it to log onto the computer.
Yeah, because he can read now. Because fucking Travolta gave him wisdom. He ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
They find the weapons room. We go back to the village. Johnny's girlfriend's hanging out.
Yeah.
His horse returns, no Johnny.
Oh, she's devastated.
She wants to go after him. The others won't let her. She forces her way out. We have Travolta trying to ram a rat down Johnny's mouth. We have the picto cameras and leverage. And then Johnny starts to speak to them in their language. And they're taken aback. He can understand us. We can understand him.
It was actually, this was the one really great thing about the movie. So like the whole time, we understand everybody. But at the beginning, when we first saw the heels, like they're talking in a language we can't understand.
Right.
But then like immediately after, we can't understand them. Mm-hmm. So the way they did it, it was actually clever, where Johnny Goodboy starts to talk in the language, but it morphs into a language we understand, which would be English, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So as a viewer, you understood there's no subtitles in this movie. This is why you can understand them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That was like, I thought that was good.
Okay. So the cavemen try to attack, but just because they have the laser weapons doesn't mean they can make them work or that they're armed.
Yeah, they don't put they don't put ammunition in the weapons.
Yeah.
They explained.
So they're going back and forth, and Johnny says to Travolta, "You don't have much time until the home office."
Yeah.
That's what he said. They're
He's on Letterman.
The home office. Not in Letterman. They're in a warehouse. The home office is on Planet Cyclo. The home office is going to learn about the gold, and now we have leverage over you.
Oh.
And Travolta laughs this off. So Travolta's bright idea says, I'm going to show you how useless this knowledge is. I'm going to take you to the Denver Library. And it's in ruins, but most of the books are there.
It's 1,000 years old, and every book is easily readable.
Yeah. And here Travolta says, and this is a key point, the Cyclos conquered your Earth's armies in 9 minutes.
Yeah.
So learn whatever you want. Nothing can help you. These boobs conquered the planet in 9 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they use it via air. Bad air.
I see.
Yeah.
So Johnny reads for a while. I assume it's meant to be like hours. It's literally like Travolta walks out the door, Johnny opens a book.
Thank
Travolta
God.
walks
How
back
much
in the
time
door.
did you want to see him reading for?
I don't know. Next we go to
This
a
isn't
field.
an unopposed Raw.
Next we go to a field where Travolta shoots up a bunch of cows to demonstrate what a great shot he is. I heard a caveman come out and say, hey, that's our cows. And they tackle Travolta to the ground. And Johnny gets a laser weapon. And they all want him to kill this guy. But Johnny says, no. You see, the lights in the skies are not gods. And the great cities were built by men like us. We can defeat the Cyclos if we go back and learn about their ships and their weapons. And they're all speaking amongst themselves, so Travolta can't understand. And then he begins to suck up to Travolta, returns the weapon to him. And then Travolta reveals, oh, by the way, we have your girlfriend. And we know it's your girlfriend because she has a drawing of you.
Pretty good indicator.
Yep. He puts a bomb collar around her neck and then blows up one of the other cavemen to show what could happen to the girlfriend, and then they all cackle because they're mean. So Johnny's sad. He's in his cage and he's sad. The other cavemen are all telling him he has done the right thing. Suddenly, everyone randomly just swears loyalty to him, and they're all in cages all over like a big human zoo, and they all just start barking and climbing the cages and screaming.
This was the one where it's like, the whole thing is he has to convince them that even though their buddy got his head fucking blown off,
Yeah.
and he could have just killed this heel,
Yes.
he let him live, and then his buddy died, and now they're stuck in cages.
Yes.
He's got to convince them, despite all of that, I had to do it because we can save the world from all of these fucking heels. And they're like, yeah! There's like no good speech.
No, they cheer up him.
There's no, like, he was preposterous.
Yes.
There was no rallying of the troops.
No.
No, there was no good rallying of the troops. I mean, we saw a rallying of the troops, but it was unbelievable.
So Travolta goes to the bar again, where there is a hot, as he, in his own words, a hot, dumb female cyclo. And she gets drunk cheap, too. Played, by the way, by his actual wife, Kelly Preston.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Big fucking forehead.
Yeah.
And tongue.
Like an 8-head.
And she should have a very talented tongue, yes. And they talked about picto cams and leverage, and he cackled.
I gotta say, like, for $70 million, that was the best CGI of a long tongue they could come up with. It was ridiculous.
Yes. The effects in this movie are horrendous.
Horrible. What were they paying for?
I don't know.
Travolta?
Probably.
Did he make $20 million for this movie?
So Travolta confronts his boss, says, I have evidence you've committed fraud. Intergalactic aliens doing white-collar crime.
Yeah.
So,
They're very evolved.
says, I could vaporize you. Instead, I will just make you do whatever I say. And so he uses this leverage to get his hands on some mining equipment and give them to the man animals. Takes Johnny Goodboy to a flight simulator where he crashes the first time and then beats the game on a second try. Travolta says, this is because I have leverage over you. And this is the scene where they're in the flight simulator and they are the exact same size. Mm-hmm. So they fly to the mountains and the cavemen are left there. And Travolta says, I'll be back in 14 days. You'd better have all that gold mined.
Yeah.
So as soon
In 14 days, you're going to mine all that gold.
Yeah. Here, I'll be honest. I watched this movie 20 years ago when it came, 18 years ago when it came out, and it was the worst thing I ever saw. Needless to say, I did not go back to see it again since. And up to this point in the movie, I was like, this is awful.
It's not that bad.
I've seen worse.
This.
This is the point. And I'm a little sad I remembered this because this is the point where it becomes unsalvageable and irredeemable as a film.
Yes.
So Travolta says, 2 weeks, I want the gold. And he leaves. As soon as he's gone, the cavemen get back in their flying machines. Johnny flies says, there's gold in Fort Knox.
Fort Knox.
I read about it in the library.
Yes.
Because you see, the alien race that flies around the universe, conquers planets in 9 minutes, they didn't read the books. They don't know about Fort Knox, even though gold's their favorite thing.
Yes.
And clearly, there's a lot of gold in the world, but they didn't bother to find this giant stockpile. So Johnny flies them to D.C. to make a plan. They make a plan in D.C., then fly to Fort Knox. That seems inefficient. They take the gold back to Colorado.
Bars of gold.
Bars.
Bars.
Big, shiny, polished golden
Yes.
bars. They get back to the Colorado where the other cavemen who are supposed to be mining gold are, for no reason, repelling.
Well, they were putting on a show for Travolta when he was coming back in his
So
ship.
we were supposed to think they were mining?
Exactly.
By
Yeah,
climbing
he's-
down a hill?
They're
Yes.
pretending to mine.
But they
Yes.
were on a hill.
It doesn't matter, Vinny.
There was
Travolta doesn't know how to mine.
Well,
there was gold in the side of the hill if you saw them.
There's gold in them there hills.
I see.
Hello?
Yes.
So Travolta comes back early. It has not yet been 14 days. And Johnny says, look at all the gold we have for you. And there's stacks of gold. And Travolta is skeptical. And he takes out his magic gold scanning machine. And he waves it over the bars. And the machine says, it's fucking gold.
Right.
Waves over the other one, still fucking gold. But this Travolta, he's a thinker.
He is.
And it says, why is it in bars?
You mined and smelted it?
And Johnny Goodboy, quick in his feet, says, well, I would not present raw ore to one as magnificent as yourself. So we smelted it and formed it into bars here on this fucking mountainside with no equipment at all whatsoever.
Yes, yes.
We don't have a fucking cigarette lighter. How? But Travolta is so fucking dumb.
But he's a heel.
But he's a heel, but he's also the heel of the people that conquered the earth in 9 minutes.
Yeah, 1,000 years ago.
This whole thing falls in on itself and makes no sense.
Vinny.
You're
Far
defending
be it
this?
from me to
You're
defend this
defending
movie. Far be it from me. But listen, the human race was invaded 1,000 years ago.
You don't know that.
No, we do. They made it clear. This is the year 3000.
Yeah, but the invasion may have been in 2999.
No, because we can see the Library of Congress is there, the same kind of cars. It's 1,000 years ago, okay?
All right.
It'd be even worse if it were 100 years ago. Because what's left of the human race, they think the stars are gods.
True.
So in 1,000 years, they didn't have one fucking teacher that survived to pass on knowledge.
All right, yes.
They have devolved so spectacularly in 1,000 years that, yeah, this motherfucker ain't as smart as the guys that took over 1,000 years ago. He's clearly dumb. Maybe that's why they won't let him get off the planet and go to another job. Because he's a fucking idiot.
Except then he's still smarter than them because he outsmarts them many times.
Well, yeah,
All I know is
they're
that
all
the
dumb.
Cyclos are simultaneously the smartest but also the stupidest creatures in the galaxy at the same time.
Yes.
So
It's realistic.
Travolta ups the schedule. You now have 7 days to get all this gold. He leaves. And now they say we have 7 days to take our planet back, and they make a plan. So
This is a plan.
so it's established, Cyclos can't breathe Earth air.
Yes.
So if we blow up the dome, air will come in. They'll all die.
Yes.
Okay,
Correct.
With you so far. The problem is then Planet Cyclo will just send in 1 million more troops, and they'll take us over.
Right. Yeah.
So what we've got to do is get somebody to Planet Cyclo. And it was explained earlier, the part of the reason they were abandoned in the mountains is that there's radiation in the air there. And radiation, when it activates with the Cyclo air, blows up.
This is fucking ridiculous.
I don't know if Neil deGrasse Tyson never saw this movie. He can tell us this makes sense, but that's the story. All right. So if they can get a nuclear bomb to planet Cyclo,
Yes.
and ignite it, it will hit the air and the whole planet will blow up.
Yes.
Right.
Because nuclear bomb on itself just isn't enough.
Not to blow up a whole
An
planet.
entire planet.
Anyway.
Could maybe blow up one city.
So this is their plan. We will blow up the planet first, then blow up the dome, and then profit.
And this was my favorite part. Where do we go to get weapons? Texas! Let's go to Texas.
They went to Fort Hood. They find a bunch of weapons, and they find a bunch of airplanes. And Johnny takes the caveman. The caveman who could not process a triangle mere days ago says, "This is a flight simulator. You have 1 week to learn to fly Harrier jets."
How did it operate? It's been 1,000 fucking years.
All the fuel hasn't gone bad. The batteries are still full.
They have one of those crank things that you get things
No,
started.
they don't.
I know.
This is
It's
ridiculous.
not solar. None of this makes any goddamn sense.
Maybe Tesla had something to do with all of this.
So as the cavemen who can't process what a triangle is are learning to fly jets.
because,
aircraft,
Vinny, it's just like riding a horse.
they couldn't do
They
that
made
either.
it very clear.
Just like riding
It's
a
just
horse.
like riding a horse. I just stay stable.
I see. Meanwhile, Johnny goes deeper into Fort Hood. Johnny finds a nuclear fucking weapon.
Yeah.
He pulls it out of the warhead, and they just carry it around. A nuke.
Yeah. Suitcase nuke.
Horrible idea. Not
Very
even that.
dangerous.
It's not even a suitcase. It's just out.
Sure.
Like if you drop it, they hit the wrong button, you go boom. And they're talking about who's going to get this thing to Planet Cyclo, and Johnny says, "I'll do it." Some other guy says, "No, you're smart. I'll go instead."
We need a smart guy to stay here.
Yeah.
It's the guy's brother that got his head blown off.
I see.
He realizes I got nothing left here. My brother's got his head blown off.
I see.
I need to take out the whole goddamn planet, even if I take out my own life.
Meanwhile, Travolta is stashing his gold bars in a coffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had a coffin on set.
Johnny sneaks into the Cyclo's base. He meets Forrest Whitaker. Says Travolta has leverage over you. So Whitaker frees all the cavemen. They take the bomb collar off of Johnny's girlfriend, and she responds by putting her hands on his shoulders and looking him in the eye and saying, "I always knew this would be your destiny." She knew in their village in the mountains that he would find the demons, which they hadn't even seen before, and he'd beat them.
Maybe she just meant that I knew that someday you'd be a hero.
Yeah. So Whitaker goes to Travolta, "I have leverage over you." Travolta says, "Oh, you must have told the bartender." And he pulls out the bartender's head.
I laughed. It's so ridiculous. He had his head in a bag.
He said, I bet Forrest Whitaker is a secret, and I bet he told the bartender I'd better kill that bartender and then stash his head somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere
That'll surprise him.
somewhere close.
Well, did.
Somewhere close so I can show Whitaker.
Yeah. So he blows off Whitaker's hand, gives him some orders. Cavemen sneak into the dome, have walkie-talkies to form their plan. So as the pilot guy is loading up his plane with explosives, the cavemen meet some giants and beat them to death.
Yeah.
Shoot them or blow them up or cut off their air. No, blunt force trauma.
They're cave people.
They're giants.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The bigger they are, the harder they fall, Vinny. Everyone's the same size on their back.
When they're dead.
Yeah. Leverage.
So Johnny...
It's the whole secret of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and this movie.
I see.
That's how they kill these big men.
I see. So there's like a 3-minute shot where Johnny is just running in slow motion and stuff blows up around him.
Yeah, that was weird.
Cyclos are missing him by like 10, 20 feet.
This was like the scene from Matrix when they were shooting across the hallway at each other. There was that many explosions going on.
I see. Yes. Oh, okay. So as I write here, there was a gunfight where I couldn't tell what was happening. The pilot guy is up top. He's got the bomb all set, but he can't set off the explosives until they blow up the planet.
Right.
So he's taking down the enemy airships with a homing missile, apparently.
Yeah.
It was a bazooka.
It did a loop.
It did a loop. It missed a thing and then came back.
You know what? I stand corrected.
Yeah.
That was a homing missile.
So things look bleak for our heroes. Here comes the cavalry. The Harrier jets arrive. There's a goddamn dogfight, and the race that conquered the entire planet in 9 minutes is outdueled by the cavemen who couldn't understand what a triangle is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Meanwhile, Suicide Bomber Guy is just walking around carrying a nuclear bomb. If you've seen the old Batman 1996 movie where he's got a big giant bomb with a fuse on it,
Yeah.
that's a little bit more ridiculous than this. Okay, they go to blow up the dome. It won't blow up. It just cracks. There's a big gunfight going on.
None of these guys had the idea to take those guns and just start
Shoot
shooting
up.
the glass as it was cracked already.
So he tries to blow it up by ramming his plane through the dome. It gets stuck. He uses his bazooka. Things look bleak. The dome's not going to blow up. He's about to die. He's stuck. And downstairs, the humans are getting picked off by the Cyclos, and you hear one guy cry out, "They're killing us!" So the pilot
They were.
the pilot uses his bazooka to blow up the fuel tank that sets off the explosion. The dome goes off, and the poor quality of the special effect.
Yes.
We have like an hour of just glass falling. So for some reason, Travolta's still alive, even though the dome's been blown. Mm-hmm. Maybe he had a breathing thing. I don't know. He orders Planet Cyclo to prepare for an invasion. And so the suicide bomber guy gets in position. Johnny locks the bomb collar on Travolta's arm, because of course his neck is too big. The guy with the nuke gets teleported. I'm not really sure why. He is surrounded by Cyclos.
Why? That's the only way to get to the planet.
Well, how? I should say how.
I don't know how either.
Okay.
I was watching this whole goddamn movie going, okay,
You stop right there.
I got your plan, all right? I understand the who, what, when, where, and why. I do not understand the how. How are you going to get to the Cyclo's planet? Well, as it turns out, he's just going to fucking teleport there. What?
Yeah. So he gets on the planet. The Cyclos, by the way, they're not expecting this.
No shit.
They're expecting.
They weren't expecting someone to show up and blow their whole planet up.
Yeah.
Let me finish. They're expecting to go down to Earth and beat some ass. So a man animal appears in front of them with some kind of wacky toy. They don't know what it is, but they're not even really that surprised. They just point and laugh at him. Ah, ha, ha.
Haha, you teleported from the Earth.
So he blows them up. Planet explodes.
Very noble.
He's gone too, yeah. Sun rises on Denver. Harriers are still flying around. And the cavemen all congratulate Johnny. And then we have the closing scene. One-armed John...
I can't believe, by the way, how you've glossed over that they blew up the whole planet. And that was the climax of the entire film.
Okay. He blew up the entire planet. Explosions
That's
everywhere.
the fucking point. Nobody gave a shit.
I see. So one-armed giant John Travolta is in a cage, surrounded by gold now.
Yeah, they made a cage out of gold.
Yes. He's
They
begging...
made a cage
Dude,
out of gold bars
I don't know.
to house John Travolta. So he couldn't get away.
Yeah.
This is the hill you're going to die on.
I would like to add, by the way, that earlier in the film, John Travolta is picking up bars of gold, and he's like, I mean, literally, this weighs more than the jar of gold or the bar of gold that he's got. He's like, oh, there's a bar of gold. Oh, there's another one. Let me hold my thing over it. Now he's in a box of gold, and he's trapped.
I don't know.
This is the hill I'll die on.
So he says, you may as well just vaporize me. But Johnny says, no, we want leverage. He says, if there's more cyclos out there, they'll be mad at you, and we can hold you for ransom so they won't kill us. Right?
That's basically.
Anyone else get anything?
Well, this was the sequel was in the making.
I see.
Yeah.
So Forrest Whitaker is on the man-animal side now. He says, I will teach them all about our weapons. Apparently they've already mastered the weapons, by the way. They just beat your ass.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it ends. Fucking horrendous.
It was bad. It was really, really bad.
It was not as, like, jaw-droppingly, gut-punchingly terrible as I remember.
No, we've watched too much Nitro.
And Impact.
At Impact.
It's been 20 years. I've seen so many horrible
I think
shows.
it is safe to say, in our opinion, doing the job that we do and having watched the wrestling shows we've watched, there's no way this is worse than like the worst Nitros and Impacts that I've watched in my life.
Certainly not the worst ones.
No, I'm not even sure this week. I'm not even sure this was worse than Backlash.
It was at least much shorter.
It was way shorter.
Just right at 2 hours. That's a huge plus.
That's a huge plus. If this was a movie were 3.5 hours long, I'd have.
That would be different.
I wouldn't even be on the show tonight.
That would be different.
The one thing about this is there's a story. The story's not great. The plot twists and turns, not great. But when you're watching Nitro, everybody has a story. Everybody has an angle. And if a whole bunch of them don't make sense, it makes the whole show.
Yes, there are all
Really
sorts
suck.
of things that there's no follow-up to them.
Right.
There's a guy getting hit in the head with a baseball bat. He's fine 10 minutes later.
Yes.
Sure.
This was a shitty movie with a shitty story, but it had a beginning, a middle, and an end.
There is an internal logic to it.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Everyone's stupid.
But it was their logic, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Production's way better than Nitro. Am I wrong? I mean, would
There's
you
no
rather
special effects on Nitro?
would you rather have the camera like this, or would you have the camera going like this whenever things are happening?
The first one. The
Exactly.
Tilt. I'd rather have the tilt. Yes.
So there you go.
John Travolta's character he's basically playing a pro wrestling heel. Totally over the top and
Yes.
camp. Yes.
And the heels, okay, the baby faces are like, they're awful. I mean, the baby faces are as bad as the baby faces in WWE.
Sure.
The heels aren't that bad. There's some decent heel work in this movie. A lot of diabolical laughing,
A lot of cackling.
lots of being dicks.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
They are completely unlikable.
Yeah.
You do not have a soft spot for the heels.
No.
They're not cool heels.
No.
Nor are they cool baby faces.
No.
And certainly not cool viewers.
No. Like, if I made $20 for this, I'd probably be really mad.
Oh, yeah.
It was on Netflix, which I actually spent $12 to get Netflix to watch this.
What?
Did you really?
Yeah, I didn't have Netflix.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I paid for this.
Well, I'm sure there's like Mickey Mouse Club.
There's other stuff on there. I
Yeah,
mean, it's not the end of
lots.
the world. I didn't pay just for this.
Okay.
But I think at the end of the day, it's safe to say that the worst of WCW and the worst of Impact are, in fact, worse than Battlefield Earth.
They are worse than the worst thing I ever saw.
But unfortunately, now everyone's going to be saying, but Brian, what about The Room? Brian, what about this? What about that? They're going to want us to watch other terrible movies.
Right.
To try to prove that something is worse than Nitro and Impact and Thunder. You ain't going to find it.
We're not doing movie reviews every week.
No.
Craig was so upset when he learned this is what we were actually going to do for reviews.
Dude, this is shorter than Nitro, Craig, by a full hour.
By a full half hour.
A full half hour still. Great. I got an extra half hour out of my life today. I went to the pet store with my child.
Excellent.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Way better than watching the last half hour of a terrible Nitro.
You could have watched Conan again. And by that I mean the Luchador, not the Barbarian.
I
I was
was
going to
gonna
say,
say.
Conan the Barbarian? Conan O'Brien?
Fine movie.
All right, listen, before we go, Rob, I know you got... Now, Ed,
I know.
he's now going after Rob.
Yeah.
He's using you. Go ahead, Rob.
Most people usually do, so it's fine.
I'll give you the okay to read this.
Thank you. So just a reminder to everyone, the Observer Convention is going to be August 16th through the 20th in Las Vegas.
SummerSlam weekend.
SummerSlam weekend. And just wanted to get the the URL out for the so you can get tickets. It's fttm.brownpapertickets.com.
FTTM?
That's what it says. fttm.brownpapertickets.com.
FTTM.
Yeah.
Why are you analyzing this?
I'm baffled. Vinny is too. What could that stand for?
It has to be a typo.
Fuck
Yep.
the...
What the hell could this be? FTTM at brownpapertickets.com?
That's exactly what it says.
Fuck the what?
Midget.
Does it come up?
Tiny? It
Doesn't
does. It
come up.
works. FTTM. Not brownpapertickets.
The tiny midget. He's talking about you.
No, fuck the tiny midget. Is that what it's supposed to be?
I guess so.
Ha 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 ha. That's very clever, Ed.
And also...
If I find out that's what it is, that's the last time it'll ever be plugged on this fucking show.
That's fair.
And he also wanted me to mention that he has just added recent guest on Wrestling Observer Live, Chris Wolf, will be appearing. Yes.
I hope he actually contacted her. We're friends on Twitter. Maybe I should find out before we plug that.
Sure.
Well, there you go, everybody. FTTM.brownpapertickets.com. A very easy to remember URL, I might add.
Of course.
SummerSlam weekend. Tickets are available. NXT screening, SummerSlam screening, Wicked Spoon brunch,
Which is
NXT
awesome.
and SummerSlam combo, the FSW Super Shows, first, second row, and general admission. What else? Sweet party on the strip, $25. I think I paid for a lot of that last time. Texas Day Brazil, $79.
That's the going rate, Brian.
What the fuck?
Includes tax and tip.
How about that?
Does it include booze?
No.
Hell no, are you kidding me? All right, everybody, that's it. Anything else anybody wants to mention?
Not
We out of
good.
here? All right, well, thanks for listening, everybody. Hopefully the website's going to be up and running. Hopefully by the time most of you hear this. And with that, we're out of here. Talk to you again after a while.
Good night.
Adios.